Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our Advanced Women Bible Study Night, the 24th of March, 2022. We'll be dealing with later on Deuteronomy, book of Deuteronomy, chapters 17 and 18. I'm asking everybody to like, share, and subscribe to Prophets of Awakening channel and hit the notification button if you can. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah. So I want to say shalom and welcome everyone to Prophets of Awakening channel, and welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study class. So with that, I'm going to do a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms, and do current events, and then okay. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts, and all to bring about our deliverance, turn our captivity in the last days. Okay. Oh Lord, I pray unto the Lord my God, we make our confessions, O Lord, the great and faithful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee, and them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness cometh unto thee, but unto us a confusion of faith, as of this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, to all the countries where thou hast driven us, because of our trespasses against thee. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil has come upon us in the land of our captivity here in the Americas, Caribbean, Great Britain, and Africa. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, that thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city, Jerusalem, and thy people, and thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer, and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people for the Lord's sake. O Lord, open thine ears and incline thine ears to hear, and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not, for thine own sake. O my Lord, for thy people in your land need you so much at this hour. Peace be on you. Okay. So, somebody gonna read the Psalms, or they want me to read it, or what? Okay, you want me to read it?
I can read one. I can read
Okay.
one.
All right.
Let's see.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Okay, Psalms 33 says, Rejoice in the Lord, O ye righteous, for praise is comely for the upright. Praise the Lord with harp, sing unto him with psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings. Sing unto him a new song. Play skillfully with a loud noise. For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness. My phone is turning. And judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathereth the waters of the sea together as an heap, and layeth up the depth in storehouses. Let all of the earth fear the Lord. Let all of the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever. The thoughts of his heart are all to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. The Lord looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioned their hearts alike. He considered all their works. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host, and mighty man is not delivered by much strength. A horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for the Lord. He's our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Let the mercy, O Lord, be upon us according as we hope in thee. It's Psalms 33. There was so much in that, and I just picked that one out. It's like it spoke to me. It was several places. Um, let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to it said, "Let the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him." Um, I like where it said he chose us as his inheritance. Um, so is it that he chose? Was he giving us, or did he pick us? It seems that's interesting. I never. It said, let me find that. He chose. Uh, blessed, blessed is the whole nation whose God is the Lord. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you look at that, like I was saying in Daniel, uh, in chapter 8, when he says, it was three men came. One man in linen was on the water, and there was a man on Uriel was on one bank of the river, and Gabriel was on the other bank. And it says that the man clothed in linen said to Gabriel, "Go and make this man Daniel understand." So Gabriel commanded Michael, this man clothed in linen, commanded Gabriel to go and make Daniel understand. So it's the same thing with that. When you understand the order, Yahweh uh, sent Michael uh, from Mount Zion to Egypt to deliver the Israelites. That's how he inherited.
Okay.
He was sent to Egypt, and then he was sent there to get them and to bring them back to his house. It's just like right now with these Ukrainian refugees. They flee in their country, but they going to somebody else's country. They're going to Poland and all that. The Poland people got their own land and home. So the Ukrainian people going to their land. So the Lord of hosts left his home, which was given to him, the land he was given, and he went to that he inherited from Yahweh. He sent them to go get uh, the Israelites, and in the process of going and getting them, he brought them back to his land. That's how he inherited.
So, but he got the best part of humanity also. So that's why the Lord of
Right,
hosts sent him for us, because we were, see, that's my thing, because in the garden he was with us anyway, right? And that's
exactly.
who walked with us anyway.
Right,
So he was the one that kind of was in charge of us. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to.
right. Yeah, it's just like a babysitter. You know, you got you you leaving and going out of town or something. You go get your babysitter. Well, a
Mhm.
a babysitter that's the babies, the children are already familiar with. They already dealt
Mm.
with the babysitter already dealt with your children. So when you got some come up urgent, you got to go out of town. You're gonna go and get that same babysitter. You're familiar with it. You know, good with your kids. So he had been dealing with Yahweh's people all along. So when they got jammed up over in Egypt, he called him and told him to go get them and bring them and take them to land of Canaan, where you dwell at. That's how he inherited it.
Because we had lost touch, right? They
Right.
had until Moses. Well, it was I guess Noah, but I'm just saying we hadn't had any. from Adam and Eve, was it I guess it was Noah and then Moses that, what I'm saying? I know it was a time where, just like now, where he's not talking to us directly like that.
Right.
So I guess, yeah. But that part in that, just as I read that, I was like, wow. It's like,
Right.
he wanted us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Exactly. He decided. Okay. Anybody else got anything?
I like verse 4, for the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about what he does for us because it's not, with deceit, or he's not being manipulative or any of that. So
Right.
I love that one, verse 4.
Right. Exactly. Right. And that's those are the things. Like I said, I was in a conversation earlier, and those are the things I'm saying about how uh, when you read that right there, when our forefathers, Deuteronomy 28 tells you that what Deuteronomy 32 says, that the song of Moses is that we was going to be taken to another land and deal with new gods, newly raised up gods that our forefathers didn't know. So our forefathers didn't know JC. And so just like at the time when that scripture that was just read, that he wanted to deal with us in spirit and truth, that he was dealing with them in spirit and truth. But since that time, our enemies have got hold to our records.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't read it thinking it's in spirit and truth, because it's a
Mm-hmm.
dead camera line. And they didn't took that they didn't took the and hoodwinked the scriptures and hoodwinked the timelines and all that, they hoodwink it where you don't know that. But the whole time the scriptures is spoiled because they didn't got hold to them and hoodwinked them. So you can't just like I said, it's over time period. You realize that this ain't right. This ain't, when you start looking at other scriptures and looking at this, that something happened. They've been somebody done finagled these scriptures. Like I said before, Noah. He said the only reason he chose Noah because he said Noah was perfect. So you say, what you talking about? His DNA was perfect. And then not only that, when you understand who Melchizedek is, he's a teacher of righteousness, right? So you go back, it tells you Canaan, that was, I think, the third from Adam. He was a teacher of righteousness. That's Melchizedek. And that title was passed on down to Noah. So now all of a sudden, after the flood, Noah get drunk. It's a lie. Because there's somebody hoodwinking there. Somebody finagled there. He a teacher of righteousness before he got on the boat. So you say you gotta look at that.
right.
You see what I'm saying? All kind of
Mm-hmm.
all kind of hell and broke loose on the earth before the flood. That's the reason why he flooded it. He was righteous then. The sin was all over the place. Now it ain't but 8 people. Now all of a sudden he a drunk.
Right.
If he's gonna be a drunk, he'd be a drunk with all this shit that was going on around him before the flood. So that tell
Okay.
you right there, it's a dead
You're
camera.
right. That's true.
That's
You know what
something.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Yeah.
then when you start dealing with people today, they want to stick to something when you most had to dealt with you long ago and showed you you can't think like that. And so you got to catch up with that. It ain't that you think you know everything. It's just that I didn't walk the dog with that. I already been down that road, throwed off on that, thinking one just like at one time you thought JC was all that, but now you know better. So
It's
that's how.
it's like this in Psalm 33. This one too that caught my kind of what you're saying. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever. The thoughts of His heart to all the generations. So I, He gives us, you know, sort of like what you just pointed out.
Right.
He gives you that discernment that you
Right.
can see what He intended,
Yeah.
His heart.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Exactly. And then, like I said, with the Phenom. I don't know if y'all know him. That's uh Aaron's son. So he had told them, like I said before, the Gentiles. You can't be quoting what no Gentiles said. So he didn't told them the Gentiles are enemies. He say they worthless. They like dirt. So here they come with 2 Gentiles up in the temple. And Phinehas took a javelin and ran the javelin through the man and the woman. See what I'm saying? So
Right, that was powerful.
right.
Wow.
So you got to imagine the zeal and the love that he got for the Most High and what he told him.
Right.
So you get to this point, you got a man that the Most High that brought him to a certain point. He can't go for that. You can say all you want to say. I am not going for that. You know, they ain't the truth. You know, it can be 1,000 people listening. I ain't going for that. I already know that ain't the truth. That's elementary. What you saying? It's elementary, but I'm trying to be right. I'm trying to be decent and all that, but it's elementary. You taking me back.
Yeah.
Go for that. Shit, I can't go for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to bring you up the par. I ain't trying to, I ain't not trying to go backwards. Yeah. It's just like right now. It just Most I said that he's gonna resurrect all our forefathers. Can you imagine sitting at your house and down Enoch ring your doorbell? Huh? And then he coming in and he talking to you. You still talking bullshit, and he still telling him apart. He talking about it ain't that he know everything. This Enoch. He can't go for that dumb shit you talking. Come on. Huh. Talking about. Oh, yeah. Oh. Is that something? So where we was at? It got me cooking up in
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we just finished the song, so we on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's all the
Oh my goodness.
women's health. You gonna do that, Michelle?
Yes, sir. Oh wow. Okay. Everybody just be patient with me. I have some great information, I think. I'm going to cover 2 things. I'm going to cover a little bit of history that relates to Black women. Then I'm going to cover a herb that is good for us, and just quote a couple of scriptures to tie it all together. So my first thing is I just want to ask the question, does anyone know who James Marion Sims is? We're not going to spend a lot of time on him because he's not worth our time.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, he was old wicked Gentile that performed the gynecology surgeries on the Black women's in I think the 1840s.
Wow, I heard about that.
Yes, that is who that is. So we're not going to talk about him anymore because he was very, very wicked. And there are 3 women, which we know that there's more, but there's 3 women that really he tortured. The first one is Anarcha, Anarcha Westcott. And there were 2 other women by the name of Lucy and Betsy. But the other women identities remain unknown. So I'm just going to read a little bit about Westcott because he really tortured her the most over a 4-year period. So it says, in his time, Sims operated on not less than 10 enslaved women. One of the women, Anarcha Westcott, had endured at least 30 painful surgeries for over 4 years. And at that time, she was living in Alabama. She was a pregnant teenager, 17 at the time, with a disfigured pelvis that made it almost impossible for her to give birth. After she had been in labor for 3 days, her plantation owner reached out to Dr. Sims to help with the delivery process. He delivered the baby using forceps. The delivery caused her to develop um, serious vaginal and rectal wounds caused by uncomfortable bowel movements, which led to severe infection. Her injuries caught Sam's attention, and he started using her for his experimental surgery. In the process, she was separated from her child and used for further experimental analysis with no anesthesia. Apart from
Mm.
Westcott, there were other women who faced similar experiments. They are Lucy, Betsy, and other women whose identities remain unknown. Now, this is what gets me. After Sims successfully perfected his medical techniques on enslaved black women in the 1840s and 50s, he proceeded to open a women's hospital in New York where he treated white women with anesthesia.
Wow.
That's something.
Oh, I'm not surprised though, but
Yes, yes.
wow.
They really did a number on us. And so one of the herbs that I'm going to talk about is red raspberry leaves. And those are the leaves that are on they have red raspberries, but the leaves on those can be used to make a tea, right? And red raspberry leaves are rich in vitamins and minerals. They provide B vitamins, vitamin C, and a number of minerals, including potassium, magnesium, and zinc and iron. Red raspberry leaf tea is especially popular due to its possible benefits for pregnant women. However, it seems to help women in general. It is often referred to as the woman's herb. The leaves help relieve premenstrual symptoms such as cramping and nausea and diarrhea. It helps tone and tighten muscles in the pelvic area, which may reduce the menstrual cramping caused by the spasms of these muscles. Red raspberry leaf tea has also been used to strengthen the uterus, which helps improve labor outcome and prevent excessive bleeding after childbirth. So that is a good one. I did not know that. So that is good. And so I just want to know, which there are a lot of verses, but I picked two. And since tonight discussion and it's Women Advanced Bible Study, I'm going to say Israelite women are strong. And I'm going to read Psalm 18, 1 through 2. Psalm 18, 1 and 2. I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my strength in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. Also, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. That is Psalm 139 and 14.
Okay.
Okay, Psalm 139 and 14. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well.
Okay. That was some good information. Anybody got any comments on
Yeah, I just thinking about that, just what, we had to endure and just, you know, um, I think that's why, people view us, just black women in general as strong and, you know, even though, we're tired of saying, being strong, but it's in us, so we can handle things. Because just enduring that, it's just a level of strength that I think it's just kind of inborn now. It's just in us to, I'm sure we don't even know the half of what those people went through then.
Right.
But
Right.
it's just, it's so depressing to think about, you know, they had no choice, and what was done. I just, it's still just, it's hard
Right.
to believe sometimes people
Right.
could do that to other people.
She had no say so, she just had to endure, all that pain. And he just inflicted more damage on her, with the experiments that he was doing. And then he goes off to New York and opens up a women's clinic, for white women after he has, done so much damage to the black woman.
Yeah, yeah. So that shows you he knew that was
Right. He knew.
ridiculous. He could have
Right.
given her. Wow.
Right. And that goes back to them saying, we, the saying, we don't feel no pain because they don't think we're human. You know what I'm saying? They just treat us
Yeah.
any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like I was saying before, we just go down to the get some mechanic or stuff. Like I said, you don't really have to. You got people that'll bring up. Let's go look at the Hebrew. You can look at the mechanics and stuff. Like I said, J-Fad got blonde hair and blue eyes, and Israel is brown skinned with brown eyes. They can't have the same origins. They got to come from two different origins. You ain't got to go to read the Hebrew to figure that out. So it's the same thing with this man right here. Homosexuality is because of where they came from. It's angelic DNA was mixed with human DNA. So you don't know what they're gonna do. It ain't gonna be, they ain't gonna do right. Cause the Most High said that when the angels did that, they created a misfit, a diabolical being when they created it, those giants came out.
An
They on
abomination.
yeah,
Yeah.
we thinking that they human like we are. They ain't human. They don't
Right.
think like us. With the two different races of people, and they didn't with the New Testament and JC got you thinking we all originated from the same place. When we didn't, you should already be expecting him to do that type of stuff when you understand his origins, where he came from, right?
Right.
Ain't that what they say the UFOs doing? Abducting people and cutting on them and doing the same thing, ain't it?
Yeah.
Come
Mm-hmm.
on.
They're gonna say it for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're supposed to be expecting. And then, like
Mm-hmm.
I said, they don't give two rats about the Most High creation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole other man from a whole other different place.
And I think that's why, a lot of black women are coming up missing. I think they're still doing that. And it's more popular now.
Well, yeah,
um, because we thinking they love us and we can date them and be with them and all
right.
of this other stuff, and it's not meant to be, you know.
Yeah. Then you, like I say, you going in a situation. First of all, brainwashed. You don't know the real story about the origins of all that stuff. So you go in there thinking that, if it was a black guy, yeah, you gonna go in there and you're gonna talk, y'all gonna talk or whatever, and eventually hook up. But that ain't what he thinking. He thinking about he gonna kill you after you have sex with you. He gonna beat your head to death, and then he gonna probably cut out your pineal gland and eat that, and then sell the rest of the body parts. He ain't thinking like you think. He ain't thinking like
Right.
you thinking a man thinking. Come on, like I said, look at all the black women coming up dead, and the white man was there, but they ain't questioning him. They
Right.
can do what he's saying. He came in
Exactly.
there he came in there with the intention to kill a woman. But he want to have sex with her first. He probably had sex with her after he killed her. That's
So
that's what
true.
that's what we dealing with. And we keep on trying to act like they're humans and they ain't. Yeah.
Then when you
Um,
tell them the truth like that, they want to call you racist. That's what
yeah.
killed me.
Right. And the guy said, I remember this guy I was listening to one time. He said, you know, Smeagol, right? Who Smeagol is? The little, the
Mm.
little, the little thing on Lord of the Rings, Smeagol.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Say that's him. That's the white man. That's him on the inside. That's him. You know, we can't see the inside, but that's him on the inside. That's him. That's who he is. It ain't him with the white with the suit on and the suit and tie, working in the Senate or you know in the White House. That's him. Smeagol is who he is.
Oh
That's
my.
right. That's his kind. That's Smeagol is a incarnation of what his inside look like, and his mind and how he think. And Most High told you that too. He told you in Genesis that he's going to be a vagabond and a tyrant all over the earth. He's going to go from one place to the next, taking people's stuff. He already told you that. But we, like I say, we read know it. And there's something.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't like you can't go back in history and look at it. All you got to do is look at his resume. It ain't he. Like I say, who would go and take a whole group of people, race of people, put them on boats at the bottom of a slave ship, and don't feed them, and they urinate and all that on top of each other, bring them over here, and then beat the hell out of them, don't pay them. They ain't no human. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And even if you have plans to do that, but once it go into effect, who can stand there and see that many people in the bottom of a slave ship and you know in the condition that they're in, the pitiful condition they're in, and continue on, keep doing that one trip after another. Come on.
Yeah, it's just like that book I have. I can't think of it in the different, but the one where the whole family they dress up and then they go watch the people burn and hang.
Right,
You know,
right,
the little kids and the whole community.
right.
You know, finds that an
Yeah,
event, something to witness and be entertained by. That's
exactly. I was on Clubhouse a couple of days ago, and this guy brought that up, and he was saying how that was a that was a you know rituals like when Israelites got together for those 3 feast days, they would they would slaughter a lamb, and then they you know part of the lamb they burned for their God, and the other part they ate. That's what they did as a lynching. They lynched them first, then they cooked them, and then they brought the little kids and the children up there, and they cut pieces off and ate it.
and kept them as souvenirs.
Yeah, Kevin, that's too little, but you know, then you go back and think about it. Yeah, that's exactly what the Moabites and the Ammonites was doing. They was sacrificing their kids in the fire. But they was parts of the kid they was eating, and parts of them they was sacrificing to their false deities. It ain't changed. I guess something.
Right. This is the history that they do not want
Right,
discussed in school. This is the history.
right. And that's why they going crazy over critical race theory because
Right.
it's all coming out through that critical race theory.
Oh
And
yeah.
and their own children saying, "Damn," because they don't know it. They don't
Right.
know how wicked they
The
was.
depth of it. Right.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They would never get. They don't even want Christopher Columbus explained. They definitely wouldn't get into that part.
Oh yeah,
As what we're talking about today.
right, exactly. This song. So I'm gonna play this right here. I'm opening it up for Q&A, and if anybody got anything they want to bring up, come say about. I'm probably gonna be out here right at an hour. Anybody got anything they want to bring up? Okay, I'm gonna play this here, and then we can talk about it. Well, you know, I don't know if anybody familiar with it, but it's a lot of women, black women turning to witchcraft. Anybody heard that?
I was watching that on what's her channel? Anointed Fire or something. What's her channel?
Yeah,
She,
North Side.
Yeah,
yeah, she,
Northern Fire, she does have that sometimes. I never watch it
yeah.
because that wasn't interesting to me, but
Hmm.
she's saying it's a lot of black women
Oh
Right.
yeah.
into it.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
It,
she was talking about different spirits people have and things that they do they don't understand that they are, you know, that's what it is.
right. It
But I
escalated.
haven't, yeah, they don't know that what they're doing is considered witchcraft, or like she was talking about, the Ahab spirit, and just people have these different spirits. They don't realize what they have, what they're doing, but you can see the spirit on certain people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna play this right here and then we talk about
Relationships I've ever had in the entirety of my life. You shouldn't keep your magic in the dark. Like, this is your soul.
They call
you need
it
to
magic.
share it to the world. Let it rain on me now. So be it. So it is.
So they're leaving Jesus and going to witchcraft.
I was a super Christian. I was raised in a church. I was a worship leader. I'm like singing all over the place and touring over here and crying out to God. How many times have I prayed to Jesus to show up for things that were actually needed and he didn't show up?
Melissa Whetstone grew up as a preacher's kid, but 12 years ago, she left the church. She says the community felt toxic and she didn't feel a personal connection to Jesus.
Hi, how are you? I need the frankincense and myrrh is here.
She eventually discovered Lukumi, a religion that was brought to Cuba by enslaved West Africans.
It's just a beautiful thing to be a part of. It's a beautiful community spirit. You're learning and growing with other people. So I really love it.
Black folks have left the church in higher numbers over the last decade than ever before, and younger generations are even less likely to affiliate with the church. But many young people are still seeking spirituality, and some are reviving traditions from Africa and the Caribbean through practices that connect them with their ancestors.
There's infinite inspiration for me when it comes.
A few glasses of water. And that's just for my specific ancestors who watch and look over me. I have liquor that my uncle likes. Gotta make sure he still get little on the side. I feed them. I talk to them. I spend time with them. Like, this is my place to be.
So, can you talk about some of the differences in what you study now to what your relationship was with Christianity then? What are you getting out of Lukumi?
I get answers to my prayers. That I tell people that all the time. Like, when they're like, "What's the difference?" I'm like, because my prayers are answered. Like, that's one. When I come to my altar and I pray to my ancestors and I actually take my time to cry out, not only do I get responses, I get physical manifestations and answers.
You were born into a household where your dad was a pastor?
Yes.
How is that relationship with him now, and how did your family react?
I'm the black sheep of my family. I love my family to death. They love me, but we don't see eye to eye. They're like, "Girl, you going to hell, you gonna burn." And I'm like, if I was gonna burn, I'm pretty sure we'll be burning together.
So she said she get answers, when she do these little rituals and stuff, she get answers, she get physical manifestations. So anybody got any comments on that? What they think that is?
Yeah, it's the evil.
Exactly.
That's what she's getting answers from.
Wicked spirit, yeah.
But
So
I do think, like, there's been a lot of Christian pastors in the news lately, and she wasn't getting anything from Christianity because it's not anything. I mean, it's a fallacy. It's not real.
right,
So
exactly.
she wouldn't get anything, and all these Christian pastors and people in Christian churches are falling away because they know that it's, what I'm saying. I think, it's like lately it's just so. I mean, it's always been Christian pastors that gay or cheating on their wives and doing all kind of stuff. But it's like, the Lord is truly exposing them now.
Right.
It's like on public display, the
Right.
craziness is going on with them.
And there's some, and so we know that Enoch already told us that those spirits of those giants couldn't ascend to heaven. So they down here. So they waiting on somebody to call in. it says it was from what I was reading that it was at least over 1 million and some giants that drowned in the water during the flood came. So that's 1 million spirits right there. That's roaming the earth. They ain't even they can't send to heaven.
You better leave that alone.
Right, and then you go to that's all it is. And when you talk about ancient African ancestors, that's the ancestors right there. Because if they Israelites, that spirit ascended back to heaven. So it can't be no Israelite. Okay.
Ironically, it is often because of that kind of religious conservatism that people move out.
Dr. Yvonne Chareau studies African and indigenous religions.
A lot of these religions came to the United States after the Middle Passage, after the period of slavery. Like other immigrants, they bring their cultures and their religions. But because when they come to the United States, they're often met with hostility, they tended to be secretive.
Can you talk about the role that social media has played? Because especially if we're talking about the younger generation, they might not be as dedicated to being ordained and, kind of doing all these rituals. But if I go up and down my timeline, now everybody's a witch. Everybody's burning sage.
Prior to the turn of the 20th century, they utilized the internet or whatever media was available in order to be spiritual entrepreneurs. They would sell goods and services. They would treat clients and so forth. With the coming of the digital age, and in particular social media, I really feel like younger people are grabbing on to some of the digital trends where they can sort of brand themselves as practitioners. It's a kind of identity to be a part of this. So the internet and social media has certainly helped to popularize it. But I really do feel strongly that this is something of a movement in that young Black people, they are reaching back, they are recovering that which is ancestral, but they're doing it in their own way.
Yeah. So do you want to light the candles? Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to actually carve my sigils in the candle because it's in here.
Majori is a 29-year-old fashion designer living in New York who practices witchcraft. She casts spells with a coven of other young witches.
We're making money jars. So we're adding different herbs that manifest prosperity, money, success. I feel like, Hollywood and like in the movies, they kind of like gave this idea that, magic was scary. And it's like, is this scary? It's not.
Would you consider this your religion as opposed to being Catholic?
Yes, definitely. Divination is my main form of like spiritual practice, but being Catholic too, it still like resonates and there's like some roots in there. I feel like Catholicism is extremely witchy. I mean, drinking the blood of Christ, the whole sacrament, that's a ritual. Like it is witchcraft. They just don't want to call it that. I just feel like we kind of need to get rid of that taboo mentality of like, this is something that is like evil or, harmful, because it's not at all. It's the complete opposite of that.
Do you feel like in the last 5 to 10 years or so that is happening?
Because of social media, there's a huge surge of giving a light to the divination community and like witchcraft and everything. And people are now being more vocal about their practice and being more comfortable expressing themselves and showing their craft. And I think that's very beautiful.
This is Ultra Magica for crystals coming out of the broom closet. So I have Majori, the punk priestess, here in the flesh.
For many young spiritualists, the online community has replaced the one they might have had at church, but without the strict mandates that come with other religions.
I'm not the type of witch that likes to subscribe to rules. I just do whatever it is I please. If it doesn't fit the spell, I will improvise. It is what it is.
I feel like the rule is, it's like oppressive. We need to have, the system. You have to be a certified tarot reader. And so I want to dismantle and get rid of that, because that's not what healership really is. You don't.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. You don't have to subscribe to these rules, because who's telling you these things? It's, again, have your own independent thought. That is what divination is.
Okay. We're gonna leave it at that. Anybody got any comments? Any comments?
Yes.
I get something.
I've also seen those young people just on TV. They take this when she was talking about sage. They was like, let me. What they look like? They're saying trying to get the negativity out of the space, and they have this little sage. It's like a little sash. It's like, and they light it, and it's like, yeah, they kind of make the smoke go around them.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people do that, saying, I forgot, but it's like clear the room of negativity kind of thing. I guess it's a sage little, kind of looks like a little broom sometimes, or it looks like a little, um,
Like a cigar, almost like.
yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And something that smokes, and they put all this smoke, and they're like it's clearing, clearing the negative. It's like, oh, let me clear forgot what they called it, but I've seen people do that on TV.
Right. It's no different than in the Catholic Church. They walking around with that little thing, look like a bell, and got smoke coming out of it. Like she said, that's what the Roman Catholic religion is. It's paganism. It's a amalgamation of all different pagan religions all brought together. That's what Christianity is. And then they took JC and stuck him on top of it. But all his characteristics go back to pagan God. That's all it is. What she said is ain't no more witchcraft too. They're taking the wafer and putting it in your mouth and all that. It's witchcraft. The whole setup. Yeah. You get something? Yeah. Okay. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 17 and 18. Okay. Okay. Deuteronomy 17 says, "It's certain abominations of worship. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto the Lord thy God any bullock or any sheep wherein is blemish, or any evil favoriness, for that is an abomination unto the Lord thy God. If there be found among you within any of the gates which the Lord thy God have given thee, man or woman, that have wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, and transgressed his covenant, and have gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or the moon, or any host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the things certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shalt thou bring forth that man and woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone him with stones till they die. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death, but at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him, put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So shall thou put the evil away from among you. Okay. Then the Levite's judgment shall stand. If there arise a matter too hard for me, in judgment between blood and blood, between plea and plea, between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within the gates, then shall thou arise and get thee up into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. Thou shalt come unto the priest of the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire. They shall shew thee the sentence of judgment, and thou shalt do according to the sentence which they of that place which the Lord shall choose shall shew thee, and thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee. So let's look at that right here. I keep on showing you this, and it's all through the scripture, especially in Deuteronomy, but he says they got a matter that arose, whether you dialoguing or whatever, and you're trying to get to the bottom of it. And he says right here in verse 9, thou shalt come unto the priest, the Levite. See that? That's what the book says, the Levite. And then he says, unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment. The book stop at the Levite. All Levites males. See that? 10. And thou shalt do according to all sentence which they of that place which the Lord shall choose to show thee, and thou shalt observe and do according to all that they inform thee. So it's the reason he took them unto himself. So like I said, looking at the order, if in Genesis, when he lists the 10 men that he called before the flood, it was all males. The Levites are all males. So it's just 2 examples right there. So now all of a sudden there's women up in heaven. The order, you see the order, how it's coming down. And then, like I said before, that was something new when he created the woman on earth. That's what brought the angels down. They had never seen them. They had never seen no woman before. He took and then he had to put, it was so important that what he done, he took the essence out of the man and created the woman. That's when these angels saw the woman. And then not only that, they saw what they were doing to the woman. That's what brought them down. Like I said, if it was women up there in heaven, then wouldn't it have been easy to coerce a female angel like them and have to come all the way to the earth and try to get a woman, because that's where the women was at, on the earth. Okay? So anyway, the verse 12. Let's see, and all the people shall show here. 11, and according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, thou shalt do. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shall shew thee to the right hand or to the left. And the man that will do presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth to minister there before the Lord thy God, or unto thy judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt put away the evil from Israel, and all the people shall hear and fear, and do no more presumptuously. Okay, so then it's a guideline for a king of Israel. When thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over thee, make like as all the nations that are round about thee, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set the king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not not thy brother. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses, for as much as the Lord hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of his law in a book out of that which is before the priests and the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all his words of this law and these statutes, to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandments to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. So notice, like I was saying before, it says in verse 18, he shall be, when he sits upon his throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book, in a book out of that which is before the priest and Levites. So it's the book of Deuteronomy. He should always have a copy of the book of Deuteronomy with him at all times. In 19, and it shall be with him and he shall read therein all the days of his life. So back like I said before, you know, you can't read for 3 months. And then he got all his wisdom and knowledge. It's a process. You know, it's a process. Something you might get it wrong. You might have a twisted at first, but then over time, after you keep reading it and dealing with the Most High, then he brings it and line it out. Whereas 2 years ago, you might have believed one thing, but now that the scriptures, and you can build up your understanding of the scriptures, now you can look back and see with the knowledge that you acquired that what you believed back then ain't so. And so you already know you can't go back to that because you know it ain't right. And then as soon as somebody come along, you get into a dialogue with them and they bring that up. You've already been through that. You already know. You done went through that process. You know that ain't right. Okay, so it says, okay, yeah. So anybody got any comments? That was chapter 17.
Even in chapter 17 in the beginning, you know, where he talks about you know, sacrifices with blemish and all that, he didn't accept second best. You know what I'm saying? He only accepted the best.
Right.
So, and this is just coming to me because, you know, you see this over and over again when it comes to sacrifice, right?
Right.
You had to know we had the best.
Right. Exactly.
You know, that is what just, you know, just came to me. You know,
right.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said before, and then you know, it's it's offended. It's offensive to some people, but like I said, a receding hairline, that's a defect. You see what I'm saying? So then when you say that, and the nigga reach up there on top of his head and his hair receded, he start feeling a certain type of way. But he just told me right here that you can't none of the priests can't come in like that. So he can't make that statement if he ain't made all of them perfect. If none of them don't have no defects on them, there had to be a group of them that was like that for him to say that. And then that was a way to spot it and figure it out that something ain't right. Because if they got defects on them now, he can't be no Levite the Most High dealing with.
Right, and we see over and over again too. If they was doing certain things, they took them outside the gate and stoned them. Like all that magic mess, what we was watching earlier, and all, that was not allowed.
Yeah, until yeah, and then like I said, they want to assume that this right here we reading the change. He said this right here, what he gave Israel is forever. That's the purpose that Esau attacked it. So we reading it with the intent thinking that it wasn't tampered with, but they didn't dissect this thing. You know, it's no way you can create a character like Jesus if you didn't dissect it. You had to be going all through here, flipping everything upside down and doing everything in order to create the New Testament. You can't just create no New Testament and don't know what's going on in the Old. You would meticulously going through the Old and to create the character of Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have to understand that magic mess is abomination. They ain't.
Right.
And just like reading that, chapter 17 was talking, and that's kind of, I couldn't remember where it was, but this is where it was. It was saying, once we come into the land that the Lord gave us, that He would set a king, over us. Um, but it was saying that you shall not, choose a king that you may not set a stranger over thee. That's what I think when I was not voting,
Right.
people going on to, if they're not, you know, we're not supposed to be putting, participating in that. If it's,
Right.
it's not a
Right.
Hebrew. It's like it didn't even matter because we knew what they were going to do, regardless who they put in there.
Right.
And then the other part down here where it says, neither shall they multiply wives until he shall multiply wives to himself, that it may turn his heart not away. And I know um, a lot of brothers are saying that um, because men can have, children wherever, that they, it's best for them to have multiple wives. But I'm just thinking if that was the way it was intended. I know they did it, and I know it wasn't a I mean, you could have like a lot of people back in the day had 12 children with one woman. You don't
Right.
need more than that because they can't take care of more than that. And
Right.
if you can't take care of them, you don't need to have them. So just to say you can just plant your seed and all that, to me, that's gluttony, and that's a selfish thing. But a lot of men are not admitting to it. So here, when he's saying that, neither shall he multiply wives unto himself, that his heart not turn away. Because then you get in sort of like the reason they don't want us to celebrate birthdays. Because then you're getting into self and gluttony and exhort to me exalting yourself.
Right.
You have all these wives for what?
Exactly.
And it's like they want to. Well, it gets me since this women's night. A lot of these channels, and just not even the Hebrews, just people in general, men on social media now, it's just exposing a lot of way they think. You know, I don't know how long they've been thinking this way, but for them to, criticize the very small, because black women are the most race loyal women out of all the women, all the nations of women. Black women are the most race loyal. They don't even really entertain. Now they are,
Right.
but the criticism that they're getting from these brothers, and they're the main. I know they have seen this go on for years and years, and we're the most race loyal, and black men are the least race loyal. They're the ones that did out more. So I was listening to I think it was Brother Dave. He was talking about how the men of Judah, that's their weakness. Their weakness is women.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's caused a lot of problems for the men of Judah. They need to
Right.
get it together.
Right.
So true.
Right. And if you notice right here in 15, 16, and 17, it says, thou in any wise set him a king over thee, look at this, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou make it not a stranger over thee, which is not of thy brethren. So Saul, he didn't choose Saul. When you go back and look at the story, the people chose Saul. And they chose him because his height, right? So then, but look what he says. Thou shalt set it, or thou shalt set in any wise a king over him, king over thee, whom the Lord shall choose. And then you go to 1 Samuel chapter 16, right quick. It's major. Chapter 16, verse 1. So we see right here. This new Bible, these pages sticking together. Chapter 16, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul? See, people chose Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel. Fill thy home with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his people. So he chose David. That's another way how you know who the Messiah is. He didn't choose Saul, he chose David. So every king after David came out of David's loins. So David is the Messiah. And everything after that comes from the Messiah. So anyway, so he says in verse 16, but he shall not multiply horses unto himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt. And it says to the end that he should multiply horses, for as much as the Lord hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. So Solomon married a woman out of Egypt. And Solomon had this big old chariot thing going on with all these horses. So Solomon doing just the opposite what he said. Then 17, neither shall thou multiply wives. Solomon had 800, 900. So Solomon did just the opposite. See that?
That's crazy. Can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that basketball player they were saying had 100? Well, it might have been more than 100. But the book, yeah, that's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna read verse chapter 18. The priests and the Levites and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offering of the Lord made by fire and his inheritance. Say, therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance, as he hath said unto them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, for from them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be an ox or a sheep, and they shall give it unto the priest, the shoulder, and the two cheeks, and the maw. Okay? The first fruit also of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first fruit of the fleece of their sheep shalt thou give him. For the Lord thy God hath chosen him out of all thy tribes to stand to minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. So look at that. I want to shine a light on this. So notice, I told in Isaiah 53, they talk about him, right? But notice it's more than one man. Verse 3 says, Deuteronomy 18:3, and this shall be the priest's due. That the priest's due is more than one from the people. For them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be an ox or a sheep, and they shall give unto the priest the shoulder and the two cheeks and the maw, the first fruits also of the corn, of thy wine and of thy oil, and the first fruits of the fleece of the sheep shalt thou give him. See that? Him, same him that's in Isaiah 53. More than one. It's priesthood, the Levites. So just like the son, he said, Israel is my son. He's talking about all the males in Israel, in their households. So he says, 5, and the Lord thy God hath chosen him, see that? Out of all thy tribes to stand to the minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. And if a Levite come from any of thy gates out of all Israel, where he sojourn, and come with all the desire of his mind into the place which the Lord shall choose, then he shall minister in the name of the Lord his God, and all his brethren, the Levites, do, which stand there before the Lord. Right? They shall have they have light portions to eat, besides that which cometh of the sale of his patrimony, whatever it is. So I want to shine a light on something. So he says, and if the Levite, verse 5, the Lord thy God hath chosen him, right? It's the Levite, the tribe of Levi, and the priest out of all the tribes to stand and minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. And if you go to I go to this verse all the time. I go to Isaiah right quick. Isaiah 43, and starting at verse 10. It says, "Ye are my witnesses, saith the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that he may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me." So verse 10 says, "Ye are my witnesses." It's talking about the priesthood, Levites. They're the ones in the temple ministering to him. So when you go back to verse 5, the Lord thy God have chosen him, the Levites, out of all the tribes, to stand, to minister in the name of the Lord. He in the temple, they in the temple. That's why he's telling them in Isaiah 43, "You my witnesses." The Levites is my witness. They in the temple. They see me. They're dealing with me. So that's why he's saying that. Anyway, so 9, "And when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or pass through the fire, or that use of divination." They go to witchcraft, "or any observer of time or enchantment, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer, for all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doeth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. For these are nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto observers of time, and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God have not suffered thee so to do." So look right here, what he said in 13, "Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God." Ain't that what he said about Noah? Said that about Noah. And then, like I said before, everybody revived it. Now all of a sudden Noah drunk after the flood. Like I said, the dead cattle line. 15, "The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him shall ye hearken, according to all that thou desirest of the Lord thy God in Horeb and in the day of the assembly, saying, Let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And the Lord said unto me, They have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I have shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that speak, shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. And if thou shalt in thy heart, how shall we know? If thou shalt say in thy heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord hath not spoken? And when a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, but the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken, but the prophet hath spoken presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him. Okay, that was Deuteronomy 18. Any comments on that? Okay. We got a comment right here. Let's see what it says. Every wise man should have a woman advisor. Okay. I say con. I can go for that. Okay.
Okay.
You know, they say women have that extra discerning spirit,
We do.
that
Right.
intuition that's in there. It's just something.
We do.
Right.
supposed to
They
be a
see,
help me. He
That
gave
way.
it to us to help the man. So
That's
they
right.
need to use us, but they don't.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what the guy said in the. Remember, we had that lesson on Judas, and the guy was telling Nebuchadnezzar when they came up to the Israelites, he said, what's up with them? Everybody else ran and fled from me, but these people getting ready for war. And then he started telling. They saw Judas, and he said, "This is what makes these people different." He said that they women.
Mm, I
Yeah.
Wow.
get that. Okay.
And so the trick to that is that's why we in the state we in now, because they didn't constantly attack the woman over and over again over time. They constantly attack them and attack them to like I said, when we was in Harlem, Harlem was the place to be, and they came there with what they was heroin and everything else, and they didn't and they one phase they had a plane like a war plane. They one phase after another, they attacked us to where we at now. Like this spirit that's on a lot of women now is just after crack. Well, before that, black women wouldn't just things they wouldn't do, but when they ended up on crack, like the men too. But I'm just saying the woman. Now it's somebody they wouldn't even thought about dealing with. Now they got to deal with them because they got a substance abuse. And then so that flow over to the regular psyche of women that ain't on drugs because now that's the thing to do. Because they see other women doing it, black women doing it, and so then it come out. Like I said, with the movie, a lot of people didn't see that stuff, but that movie, Bodyguard, Whitney Houston was big time singer. She had it going on at the time, and she was singing that song. I will always love him. They played that over and over,
I
almost 2
can't
years.
go with that, Brother Lynn. I can't. I can't go
What
with that one because, like we said last time, Prince had never had a black woman. He was well before Bodyguard. He set the black man on the motion. Well, the black man been on the motion, but Prince, they had, these idols, Prince, Michael Jackson,
Yeah,
basketball
right,
players, the
right.
Harry Belafonte, civil rights leaders. I mean, they were doing it. I mean, black women, okay, Bodyguard, Whitney Houston was married to a black man. That was just a movie. These people were doing this in real life. So you can't put that on Whitney and black women because black women still not doing it a lot. They
No,
they
no, no.
not even doing it at a third, a fourth of what the
What,
black men are doing.
I'm not saying going white all together was because of the song Whitney. I'm saying that it broke the barrier down for us white men being desirable to black women. Like you said, Prince and all them brought the black man out, and the athletes brought the black man, brought that interracial relationship with the white woman on the scene. But black women still was sitting back. They just wouldn't go deal with no white man. But they had this woman, Whitney, singing, and the song, even though she married to a black man, but the song was from the soundtrack, and she's singing about this dude Kevin Costner, that she always loved him. That's what I was saying.
I know. I don't know. I just look at that as a movie, and then I see what they've done in real life.
In
And
reality.
yeah, I mean, to me, it was a movie, and then everybody knows she was crazy about, but it didn't really affect black women to the point where it didn't trick us. We weren't still dating in the 80s and 90s. Black women weren't doing that. Black
Right,
women have just started to do it because the men are so blatant. It ain't even about
right, right.
the
I'm
attacking
sure
of the
that.
white man. It's just white men um are really now. I mean, they always knew that black women didn't want. I think white men were afraid, and they knew black women didn't. Cause we were attracted to ourselves, which is our men. And
Right.
so now, I mean, I remember I was on a dating site a couple of years ago after I got a divorce,
Right.
and it was so many. In face to face, they may not say anything because they don't know, but online, it was majority white men in my. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they just don't think we want them. They just more
Right.
uh, forward online because I guess, it's less rejection. But yeah, but I don't think black women. I mean, it's a few.
Right.
It's a few because the black men have declared war since
They
social
don't
media is
just threw us away.
yeah, they on social media saying calling us everything but a child of the Lord.
Right.
So white black women sick of it.
Right. Rappers and all that. Yeah, that's true.
You got nothing to do about no commercials because we've been seeing it, but it's just that a lot of them are because they don't know about this. They're just going, where they're celebrated. You can go to a white man. He'll have the darkest black woman with kinky hair, short afro or whatever. He wants her to look black, whereas a black man wants a woman that looks light and has straight hair, So
right.
you feel more appreciated for who you are by other races because they like you for those features. Whereas a black man hates you. I won't say black man. Some black men detest that in themselves. So of course they detest it in, what they see in a woman. They want the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why women have left. That was my thing when black men and they jump on Serena Williams and it's only one or two of them compared to the hundreds, and they never say anything about the black man. They've been doing it and they continue to do it, and but as soon as one or two black women, do something like they've been doing, it's a travesty. It's the worst abomination in the world. I mean, all of it's abomination, but it's not to the degree of the black man. So I don't think black men should say anything.
Okay.
I don't about it until they check each other.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I was saying, it's a majority. It's a group of people. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, it's a good fig and bad fig. So when Esau put out those subliminal messages through those movies and all that, that's what he attracted. He attracted that one, that copycat or that goat. They're gonna go for anything when he put it out there. They see, monkey do. So I wasn't talking about, you got die-hard black women that just, no matter what the black man doing, they ain't talking to no white man. It just ain't in them. Ain't in their psyche to do it. But you got a lot of them that will. And a lot of it is they being coerced to do it. Okay. All right. Anybody else got anything? Before we close out? No more comments? Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna say shalom, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock for our Friday night Q&A. Shalom.